We're gonna go into the best ab exercises that you can use today in the gym, and we're gonna start right now. So this is a one-arm contralateral bicycle V-up. I wanna see here. Oh, when you're holding that tension, I'm like starting to get cramps in my abs. When you're holding tension on that dumbbell in the left arm, and I'm just using my right leg, it slaughters my right side. Same thing when I hold the dumbbell on my right side, it slaughters my left side. And the best part here of using an exercise like this is that when we're training athletes, or if you're an athlete, you want to get into being more like athletic fit, one of the big aspects is that kids, when they first start to learn trunk control, they'll tend to like shift and slide if they're doing something like bicycle V-up. The reason why I like to do it on a bench or on mats like this is because they have to balance on their glutes, okay? So typically they'll just stay on their lower back, but now they have to get up to their glutes a little bit more. And then that sort of prevents them from sliding too much, favoring one way over the other. And that's usually happening because they're just turning too much with their upper body and not staying as linear as they could. So this is the first exercise that I really like to do. Now, we've got two bangers that are gonna come up at the end of this video. Okay, they're gonna be absolutely fantastic. I guarantee you the one you've probably never seen. The next exercise, one of the things that we do here at Garage Strength is we train a lot of throwers. So throwers, shot putters, discus throwers, any athletes like this. And even if we can think about wrestlers, right? There's a lot of rotational strength that we need to have. When we're here, okay, one of the things that I like to use for this is a lot of people are big like functional fans, sports specific fans, and I'm gonna cater to you for this portion. I would say I'm like a 15 to 30% functional sports specific person. I have gotten less sports specific as I've gotten older because I don't see as much of a carryover as I once believed I did see. What I'm learning is that athletes that have very high general strength and athletes that are able to practice a lot in their sport will have a good carryover no matter what, because they're practicing their sport a lot and they are absolute specimens, right? So our goal is to turn them into specimens. Now, where I'm going back to this movement is that this is an exercise that you can use as a baseball player, MMA, combat, right? Golf, throwing, this is where we get this for. It has a sports-specific carryover because it mimics exercises or movement patterns that you see in the sport. So if you have an athlete that has that mindset, it really pays off well. It really helps them buy into the movement, okay? And if you have an athlete who struggles to feel something in the sports setting, this could help them, okay? I also just think it's a great general movement. So that's sort of my gray area response here. So we're gonna get set here, okay? And I wanna try to feel a stretch into almost the top of my lat. And I wanna go long arm, back, here, back. And the whole goal is that I wanna feel, and my goal is that I don't want this moving as much as it could, right? I wanna keep that as level as possible, and I wanna feel force through my inside foot as I rotate. And then as I come back, this is really where you're gonna start to feel it on the inside hand on that side of your abs. And we can even increase speed, and that's where you'll start to see someone favor one side over the other. And then another thing that we like to do with the discus throwers is we'll actually get to a twitch where we'll go here and go poof, 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 poof. Okay, now, the other aspect that we can do is that if you're a baseball guy, you're looking at me holding this going, he needs to switch his hands. So you can also change hands and just see how you feel when you come back, okay? I don't like it because of what just happened with the band. Now, if you're a baseball player, you can have the inside hand on the top. I just don't really like doing that, okay? So I'm gonna get set here. We'll go to my other side. Boom, 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 boom. And I can do twitch. Okay, now, if you're a fighter or a shot putter, you notice I was flat-footed there. I can start to think about a little more dorsiflexion here, dig into the foot, or the toe in, and I can actually rotate the hip a little bit more. I really like that ab exercise. Now, the first two are rotational. Okay, so they're really just focusing on this movement here and control it. And I do think there is some sport specificity. The next exercise that I'm gonna do is gonna be more linear, and I'm actually looking for a plate. Here we go. I wanna get set and actually try and think about loosening and holding a hollow position here. And I wanna just go up with minimal rocking. Okay, hold this position. Ooh. And then think like this. Oh. 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 Just doing that, my abs are lit. Okay, absolutely slaughtered. The big goal here is that younger kids, older athletes as well, they'll tend to struggle with this where they'll start to sway. And the whole goal here is to find a rhythm. When you lengthen, you want to have a little bit more hollow position so that you're not doing like a dolphin, okay? We want a little bit less of that dolphin flutter style. We want to hold that hollow position and go back and forth. Now, the reason why I got this plate, and I would recommend like maybe a little bit bigger plate, but I want to get this on my toes. Keenan, come here. I want you to put this on my toes. Okay, so Keenan's gonna get the plate, put it on top of my feet. So I'm here. Now Keenan, see if you can put it straight upright. Straight up like this way. Okay, let me regroup. So Keenan's gonna show, now just putting that plate there. I like doing an ab exercise and then going into pull-ups, doing an ab exercise and having it weighted. Doing this with dumbbells, okay? But the next one, Keenan's gonna show you here, when he puts it on my toes, it's even harder because you can do two different variations, but you have to be very aware so that the plate doesn't fall off. Hey, good job holding that, 5 kilos. Okay, so that's good. No, there you go, right there. So I can go here, and I can get a little bit more, just a little bit more knee flexion. And when you get a little bit more knee flexion, I can feel it at the top of my abs. When we're thinking about like deep core, okay, real deep core work, that's a movement that you will feel like bottom of the abs when you go lower with your feet. Top of the abs deep, like second layer abs, okay? And that's a big factor there is that I even think that with that side band rotation that we did, you will feel like I'm not even joking when I say this, you will feel this internal wall pressure, and that's gonna be what leads to greater performance, greater jumping ability, greater agility, and greater core strength. Now, I'm gonna show you one more sort of traditional ab exercise, then we're gonna close everything out with those last two. So I'm gonna do one more, give Jason, the cameraman, a break, talk to Keenan a little bit, and then we'll get 3 more movements done. Now, before we get to the next exercise, these are movement patterns that you'll see specifically in our strength training app, Peak Strength. We've got a link in the description. It's the first link. Click right there. You can go to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store. You can download that. You'll get 7 free days of training, and you're gonna get exercises like this specific to your sport or specific even to your goals. Okay, so click that today, go over, download that. You'll get those 7 free days of training, and you'll start that journey to becoming a freak. Now, let's get some more core exercises. Okay, so I was off camera, I was talking to our camera guy about something I had the football guys do last night, or 2 nights ago. So last night they come in and they were telling me about how sore their abs were. And one of the movements that we did, I'm gonna demonstrate with you, and we're gonna go back and forth, and I'm gonna show you this pairing. I believe that this tends to be one of the best pairings of movements, of compound leg exercises to lead to crazy trunk control, crazy deep core strength, bulletproof your core, brick shit house abs that we can do in the realm of strength and conditioning. Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna do a zombie squat. Now, what I wanna see, I'm gonna go out, we'll go like this, And if you notice, my abs are fatigued and I'm just trying to stay as upright as possible. Now, the thing that we had our football guys do was right here. After that, they would hit an ab roll. So they go here, back in, here, back in, here, back in. And sometimes you can do this with some guys where they, I'll try this. I haven't tried this in quite a while. I actually don't think I can do it anymore, but I'm getting old and fat. Is if I'm here, I had no chance. One of our DMs was actually doing like a standing out. He put his quads down a little bit to get a cheat on the way back up. But when you're doing an ab roller going out, the crazy part is like the reason why I love it is it helps feel my upper back and lengthening my abs deep. Now they're slightly fatigued. And if we're going up, so our guys got up to 300 pounds on the zombies for sets of 3 to 4, and they only had about a minute and a half rest. So you're hitting the abs, okay, direct with isolation work, then you're coming back to big time compound, okay? So this is like a pre-fatigue for your trunk. And what ends up happening is the stronger their trunk becomes, the greater their field strength becomes, and the greater their ability to have good agility becomes, okay? So that's like the big concept here. I believe that if you take zombie squats, front squats, bodybuilder front squats, anything like that, and you pair it with a direct isolation exercise like the ab roller, you will not find a better core exercise. Now, that leaves us with one more, because the pairing here, those two, I believe should be one exercise that is something you should go to the gym today and actually try. Do a zombie squat or a front squat or a bodybuilder gypsy front squat. Hit that with an isolation movement like the ab roller. Okay, hit the ab roller. Now, the last one is gonna be a movement that has been popularized by the greatest shot putter in the history of the world. There's a lot of rotation and there's a lot of speed involved with the hip. So I'm gonna stand right here and I wanna think like I'm rotating, okay? Forward, backwards, forward. I almost fell over on that first one, backwards. Forward, backward, forward, backward. Oh, and the great part about this exercise, I would call that more of like a Krauser tornado. Krauser's gonna have like 5 different exercises named after him. The thing that I really like about it is that it sort of shows you what side is gonna be a little janky, okay? So now I wanna go forward again here, and I wanna have my left leg as the pivot. Now, holy crap. I can feel that big time after those rotations and the hanging knee raise, okay? One thing that we can do is we can do that as a warm-up with a lighter weight, which I'll show you here, okay? And we can go a little faster, we could do this as an accessory movement, and I'll even demonstrate his version, the Krauser lunge. But we can go, okay? Holy crap, I'm feeling my abs right now. Same thing here. Okay, so these are some unique variations of that Krauser lunge. Now, that I would call the Krauser tornado. Now, the last aspect here, and the last version here would be a traditional Krauser lunge. And that would just look more so here, okay, where Krauser has shown these videos. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's nice. And what this does is it gets that trunk, okay, here where we link in with the hips to connect, and now you have more rotation, and you have to have that trunk control. You have to have that stability. And if we can train this at a slower speed with a little bit more load, we start to make these neural connections which then helps us to do this at a higher speed. Okay, and that's the big factor here. And so you can use this as an accessory. You could theoretically use this as a leg strengthening movement. You can even use this as a really good sport specific warm up. Just remember back when we're training abs, when we look for that deep core targeting, we gotta think about lengthening. We gotta think about linking the hips in with that whole ab sheath. Okay, and I'd like to do a lot of pre-fatigue with some compound movements into some direct isolation ab workouts. Remember, click that link down below in the description. Head over to peakstrength.app. If you want more content like this, click on this card right here, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.